Hi guys, so welcome to the SFN Show. Really excited today to have Lee McLaughlin.
That's it.
Today. Personal trainer, coach, fitness model, and current men's fitness model as well on the front cover. Look at that. Okay, Lee, mate, thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. So today, obviously, we just wanted to get to know you a bit better, what your kind of background is and the kind of sport you still compete in, and any of your kind of roots of where you've come from into the health and fitness industry. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion about this thing here as well, being on the front cover and the kind of prep you went through for that. And then, yeah, just generally talk about your kind of profile in the industry and your coaching ability and everything else. So first of all, I just want you to tell me a little bit of a background about yourself and how you got into health and fitness and your roots. Because I remember you said earlier from rugby.
Yeah, so I came from a rugby school. Well, it was not just a rugby school, a sports school, John Fisher School, the John Fisher School.
Yeah.
And yeah, it started on typically on a school sports day.
Yeah.
Where I was predicted around about fifth to come fifth in a 100-meter race.
Right.
So I thought.
So you realised you were pretty rapid.
Yeah, I knew before, and then I had a good inkling that I was.
Yeah.
But I was always advised by actually one of my brothers that don't show the school that you're too fast, otherwise they're gonna make you do rugby.
Yeah.
Anyway, when they said fifth, I was like, right, I'm not having that. I probably still wouldn't have had it, but I thought I'm not having any of that. So then got to the starting line, gun went, bang. The slowest part of my race is the first kind of 30 meters, so everyone was in line, and then stood up on my hips and I just went away.
Yeah.
Broke the school records, and then I thought, I'm quite good at this. And then before you know it, I was playing rugby.
So you played rugby for John Fisher?
Yes, I played rugby for John Fisher. Where did you play again?
I was Milford for 2 years, and I think the sevens we knocked you out at that Rosalind Park competition. Is that right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it was something along those lines that we beat you, and yeah.
Well, in the first year doing the Rosalind Park, we came runners up. I think Zebra, which was quite a good
Milford
achievement.
probably won it that year as well.
No, they didn't. They runners up.
Okay, right.
Zebra
Yeah,
won it, or
yeah.
Zebra. I don't know who they
Zebra,
were.
yeah.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
They might
I've been up to that place, and that's right out in the sticks up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd like it up there, mate, being a London boy.
No, do you know what? I like Bristol. I like Bristol. It's a lot nicer than I thought. But then I think the next year you guys you knocked us out of the cup.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
then from that rugby background, you sort of went into more your 100 meters or 400 meters. You sort of started to go on the track and compete a little bit.
Yeah. So I was always struggling whether I should continue rugby or should I go back to athletics. And then my coach started planting. My coach today, when I was 19, he started planting seeds. He says, "You should go back. You should go back." And then I decided, you know what, I want to become a sprint coach one day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be left with, I think at the time I ran 11 flat. I thought, I want to at least finish.
Is that all?
Yeah, it is actually. I think I ran at 11 flat or even 11.1, and then I was like, you know what, I think I can run 10.3. I think it'll be good to add to the portfolio. And decided, you know what, I said to my coach, I'll come back, and then.
So your coach was quite inspirational to you then?
Oh yeah, massively.
And,
Jason Carte.
And he's an ex-sprinter or just?
No, he's a veteran sprinter, so he still competes himself.
Oh, cool.
He's become world champ. He's become European champ.
So he's a pretty serious guy.
Yeah, he is serious. He's a British record holder as well. So
yeah. And then from what I understand, you had a bit of an injury to your ACL on your knee.
Yes. So
and then from there, you had to find something to keep the time ticking over with boxing and a few other bits that you've been doing.
Yeah. So I didn't realise it, but I was carrying a ACL injury from, it was about 6 years ago now, and that was from rugby.
Yeah.
And what I did was I thought it was right. I kind of literally had the same rugby mentality. It'll be right, run it off sort of thing.
So you just carried on playing?
I carried on, well not that time, no. I walked off, limped off, and then, so I had that injury for, which I now know for 6 years. I was running on it, and every year it was just getting a little bit worse, and then it was not last year, about 8 months ago I had the surgery finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then before then, like I knew when I had that MRI scan, I was doing a bit of boxing.
Yeah.
Because
so basically, I know Lee was doing a bit of boxing because we turned up on a photo shoot together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we got put in the ring, and without knowingly planned, and the photographer decided to make us both box against each other. And you tore me apart a little bit. So.
You know what? I think it was even. But yeah, I do love it. It's and what it is, it's similar to sprinting as well in a funny way, where it teaches you about relaxation, and there's a lot to it rather than just getting in the ring.
It's an art, isn't it? It's footwork and there's an art to it.
Yeah, definitely.
People call it like a dance, nearly, don't they? So
yeah, well, we dance.
Dodging,
we dance together technically.
So from there, then you've now started to rehab and you've gone back into some sprinting and track events. And you're aspiring to be an Olympic athlete, hopefully. Yeah.
So now hopefully all the niggles and all the hurdles is out. I do predict there'll be a few more coming to it, but I learned to become a student of the sport again.
Yeah.
So on my time out, I didn't waste it. I thought, all right, how am I gonna become a better athlete? So what I decided to do was learn the sport. Like I started to research a lot more about my training. How can I make it better? Things where I can improve from, because I realized that not only do I have to come back faster, but I have to perform. I have to bring the best out of myself.
Sure.
So, and I knew that would take a lot of research, even from like nutrition to just recovery and technique, and so. And
then also your like personal training and coaching sort of background as well.
Yeah.
So your professions had a carryover, and the education from that side helped.
Yeah. So I can also again train my clients and make it more specific. What I try to do is train my clients like athletes.
Yeah.
To a degree, like everyone's different, starting at a base, but ultimately I want you to get you moving like an athlete.
Sure. So on your Instagram page, you've got it says loading athlete. So I guess we've kind of just touched on what that means. So you're looking to aspire to be that kind of Olympic athlete.
Yeah, in my head, I always have a standard of where I need to get, and for me, when I mean by loading athlete, it's kind of like I'm not there yet.
No.
I'm not the finished product yet. I'm not the athlete that I know I can be.
Sure.
And that's what it kind of means.
And then you've got under construction. So just want to elaborate a little bit.
Under construction is getting this knee back to 100%. I'm about 17% off. So once that's cleared off my bio, that's when you know I'm back in action.
Sure. So one of the questions we had on the show was about kind of like preparation of food around like performance days, or for you like maybe event days when you're actually competing. So would you would you change your caloric intake on days of non-training versus days of training or competing?
So I train 6 days a week, and with those days it's basically one high intensity day, one low intensity day, recovery. So around the high intensity days, usually my calorie intake would be a little bit higher than my low intensity days.
Sure.
Now it all depends. It depends on the time of the year. It depends on the time of year, what I've got planned, how many PT sessions I've got, have I got a busy week, and so on.
And the other thing you said is because you love food, sometimes you come back and your coach says, look mate.
Yeah, my coach calls me fat.
So at that point you need,
I was like, coach, but look.
So moving on to that then, obviously, you're a busy guy, you do a lot of coaching, you do obviously, you training. You're a fitness model as well. So that's like a side business for you, and you do lots of fitness modeling, and you've gone into a bit of fashion, and then that's what kind of brought on the men's fitness. So obviously with men's fitness, they gave you a couple of weeks notice to go on the front cover. You kind of look at yourself and think, right, I've got to get myself up to scratch.
Yeah, there was pressure.
Did you change any preparation leading up to that?
Yeah, so I think I had about 10, 12 days prep. I went to the casting, they said, this is what you want. Got confirmed by the end of the day, and I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I know I can look better than what I am, but ultimately I always, because of what I do, I'm aware that I have to stay in shape all year round.
And you usually like your good looks and those nice brown eyes.
You're going to make me go red in a minute, James. I knew that I had 10, 12 days to prep, and basically, ultimately, I just took my calorie intake down. I kept everything the same.
Yeah.
I was in a position where I didn't need to perform at top level, so I was like, I can afford to just take my calorie intake down. And that's what I've done basically, just up to the days. Every day I took a a little less, a little less. Top of my head, it was about, usually I'm on about 2,800.
Yeah.
Took it down every day by 100, 200 calories, not really being specific, just thought, all right, I can't have that extra.
So for the large majority of people who follow you and, you know, who kind of, they want to lean out or they want to drop weight, it's obviously very independent to them and how much, you know, they're training and how active they are and the kind of food they come in. So you're about quality of calories rather than quantity, and just making sure the quality's there, and then just changing things day to day if you feel like you've eaten too much or not eaten enough. And
ultimately it's
listen to your body.
Like you said, it's individual to the person. I'm a big believer in the quality of food. I try my best to keep it all organic, especially the meat that I do eat, all the vegetables, all organic, clean, and just try to keep the calories as much quality as possible. Yeah. And that's what I do. I try not to go over my calorie intake, because then that's when I know. And sometimes I do, you know, I have my treat day, and when I do that, have a massive treat day. Yeah. I had KFC last night. And then like today, for instance, I have to take my calorie intake.
What's your go-to at KFC, by the way, quickly?
Do you know what? I just keep it simple. It's just a piece of chicken. I ordered 2 pieces of chicken. Yeah. My friend came back to me. I thought that was so good, and then I went back and ordered 3 more.
There you go. Sweet. So I love KFC, but I haven't had one in a little while. Yeah. Well, it looks like it.
James,
so another question we had come in is a little bit more specific to like training, which is about you know, if you're training for strength, would you do more kind of, or strength and power, so to say, would you do more like mind muscle mindset stuff where, you know, you're focusing on like kind of tempo and lifting under control, or would it be more explosive? You know, again, I think it's kind of, it depends on what you're trying to achieve from training.
It's funny because the mind sort of what you're saying there is what I really need to do with my my left quad, because I have just my whole left leg, and I have to really focus on just bringing that connection back, because especially the first 3 months after the operation, like you go to tense your quad and then you're like,
gone.
Yeah, it's not there. So I have to get the stim machine in and just try to stim
yourself.
Yeah, stim the hell out of it. So again, it just goes through what phase I'm in. Right now, I'm slowly coming towards my strength phase. So I'm trying to lift as heavy as I can, as what the left leg will allow me. Yeah. But again, I know I have to keep that activation of this left leg all year round. Usually, I don't have to really go too deep into it. Yeah. I'd have like a 4 to 6 week prep of that kind of more volume, more thinking about that activation. But as an athlete, as a sprinter, I just keep with the strength.
So I think the message to give across is like with a session, when you go in, you want to have an output of the session, and whatever that output is, you design the session around it. So if you want to do a session which is more about connecting with your body and actually understanding tension and tempo properly, it's going to be slightly different to doing more plyometric work, which is your explosive jump in, and it's going to be, there's quite a vast difference there. So I think there's just an output and goal of the session, and then you move from there. So the last thing is I want to ask you is, you know, you've got a big big following, and people, you know, they aspire to kind of your training and your cover stuff and everything else. Is there like a piece of advice or tip you'd give your followers on, you know, which would help them to reach their goals as well?
I think I've got 2 types of followers. So for athletes, any young athletes out there, anyone, especially young, one of the biggest advice I would give to people is try to create your own little business, that passive income. Yeah. Just so you don't have to rely on sponsorships, you've got something to fall back on essentially.
If you get injured,
if you get injured, and it's just something, you can become your own boss essentially, where you don't have to answer to anyone, you don't have to do anything that you not feel comfortable with that will jeopardize your training, trying to make it that number 1 priority. So for any young athlete, I'll say create that passive income and become your own boss, and then that way you can train all day long, and you can decide when you want to take days off, and you can decide what you want to do for that day.
What about your clients who are just, I guess, like more general population clients that are coming in and all they want to do is look a bit better in the mirror? Is there like a piece of advice you give for them? What's your number 1 tip?
My number 1 tip is watch the calorie intake you're taking in, because a lot of people don't realize how much they actually do eat.
So by portion sizes?
So the simple thing I would do is download a fitness app, MyFitnessPal. Yeah. Record everything you do, and then try to go on what your personal average intake should be, and then that's what I'd personally do. Look at, all right, so I should be taking 2,500 calories, let's just say for example, and then I'll track all my food, and if I realize that I'm taking 3,500, it could be 3,500 clean calories, like, carrots. You can still get fat off if you overeat. But
it's quite a simple kind of equation.
Yeah, it's just
calories in, expenditure.
Yeah, it's a math game.
It
is. I think a lot of people, if they just looked at that, they'll find their results will come a lot quicker. But it takes time as well.
I think one of the big things about using something like a tracking app or a food app to see the calorie intake is actually people learning about how many calories are in specific foods, because I don't think a lot of people know. If you take something simple, for instance, like a potato, how many calories in a potato? Like, people don't understand that by weight, so it's kind of like learning a little bit more about food. Do you agree with that?
No, 100%. I was even saying the other day, I had a problem with rice cakes.
Right.
And I didn't realize how many calories they was in. I just literally
the chocolate ones, or
no, the white chocolate ones. And I thought, it's fine. One day I looked at the pack, amateur mistake, but just control that calorie intake.
Sure, awesome. Well, what we're gonna move into, thanks for sort of elaborating a little bit on your life and everything, and what you do and your coaching and stuff like that. Lee Coach Me, is that your
LeeCoachMe.com?
LeeCoachMe.com. Website that you've developed about accessories you use in your training to help with your training. So people check out that as well. Yeah,
me and my business partner, James Godson.
Yeah.
He approached me with an idea of come on, let's try sell some products, so on and so forth. So what the products that we're going to start selling is everything. Pardon?
They have big carryover to what you're doing.
Yeah, so anything that I believe in, that I will use. So far, the stuff that we've got it's nothing, it's not going to make miracles, but it will complement your workout. It will increase the performance in some cases. So
so check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Check out Lee Coach Me.
So
we've inside this you've got a feature in here as well.
Yep.
Which is predominantly a workout. There's quite a lot of ab-based work in there as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to break this down in a minute and do a little workout segment. But Lee, awesome. Thanks for coming
James,
on.
James, pleasure.
Good to see you in that little pretty face of yours.
Stop it, you.